Hallo maats, ek hoop dit gaan goed met julle elkeen. Dit is so lekker om julle vandag hier te hê. Ek het 'n awesome boodskap vir julle, maar voordat ons die boodskap begin, kom worship gou-gou saam.
There is a light that shines right through the darkness. It breaks the clouds in my heart. Jesus, it's you. Let your light shine all across this town. Let every person experience your love as we take hands to share your light. Jesus, you're our hope. The power is you, Lord. Jesus, you're our hope. The power is you, Lord. You shine your light through us. We are a witness. Your love makes all things new. Jesus, it's you. Let your light shine all across this town. Let every person experience your love as we take hands to share your light. Jesus, you're our hope. The power is you, Lord. Jesus, you're our hope. The power is you, Lord.
Maats, vandag praat ons oor Abraham en hoe Abraham sy geloof uitgeleef het en hoe gehoorsaam hy was teenoor God. Kom kyk gou-gou hierdie storie saam met ons.
Abraham and Sarah were getting old, but they did not have any children. They prayed hard to God to grant them a child, and finally God heard their prayers.
You are a good man, Abraham, and I know you love me. Don't worry. You will have a child, and many descendants as well.
As God had promised, Abraham and Sarah were soon blessed with a beautiful baby boy. Both of them were overjoyed and named the baby Isaac.
Oh Lord, I have no words to express my gratitude to you for this precious gift you have given us.
Abraham and his wife Sarah watched with pride and joy as their son grew up into an obedient and loving son. Abraham taught his son to love and worship the Lord just as he did. He made it known to him that he was a very, very special child who God had promised to Abraham and Sarah. Isaac learned his lessons well and made his parents proud of him. One day, God decided to test Abraham's faith in him and visited him one night.
Abraham.
Who is it?
It is me, Abraham. your Lord. I have come to ask you something. Tell me, do you really love me?
How can you even ask me such a question, my lord? There is nothing and no one that I love more than you.
Well, then, will you do as I tell you to, without questioning me?
Of course, God. I don't even know why you even doubt that I will disobey any command you give me. I have spent my entire life loving, worshiping, and obeying you.
I know. But this will be a very difficult test for you.
I am willing to undergo any test you have for me. Your wish is my command, O Lord.
Good. That is what I expected to hear from you. Now listen carefully. Tomorrow morning, as the sun starts rising, I want you to take your son, Isaac, to a mountain I will direct you to. And there I want you to offer him as a burnt sacrifice to me.
In those days, burnt sacrifices were made of animals, which were tied to an altar made of wood and stones, and then burnt. Abraham couldn't believe what he was hearing. Offer his son to God, the child that God himself had given him. But then he thought about what God had told him earlier about having many descendants.
God has promised me descendants, but how will I have descendants unless I have a son? I cannot question God, for he knows best. It is a very tough test that God wants me to take. I don't know how I will be able to kill my own son.
What is the matter, Abraham? Is it too difficult a task for you to obey? Your love for your son means more than doing what I am asking you to do?
No, God. My son is, after all, your gift to me. So if you want him back, how can I refuse?
Good. So now listen carefully to what I am going to tell you. Tomorrow morning, I will guide you to the place where you must sacrifice your son. It is in the land of Moriah.
I will do as you say, God.
The next morning, Abraham called for his 2 servants and told them to saddle up and load the donkey with wood and prepare to go on a journey. He then called his son.
Isaac, my son, God wants me to make a burnt sacrifice, and you have to come along with me for this.
Yes, Father, but where do we have to go?
We have to go to Moriah, son. Though I too do not know the exact place, God will show us the way to get there.
So Abraham, along with his son and 2 servants, set off to where God wanted him to make a sacrifice of his son. The thought of killing his beloved son made his heart very heavy, but he did not show his feelings to his son. They walked for 2 whole days, eating the food they were carrying and sleeping on the road. Finally, on the 3rd day, Abraham saw in the distance the mountain where God wanted him to make the sacrifice. On reaching there, Abraham told his servants to wait with the donkey while he and Isaac went up.
Isaac, you carry the wood, and I will carry the knife and coal. The coal is too hot for you to carry.
As they were climbing up, Isaac looked questioningly at Abraham.
Father,
Yes, my dear child?
you said that God had asked you to make a burnt sacrifice.
Yes.
We are only carrying the wood for the altar, but where is the animal that has to be sacrificed?
Abraham didn't know what reply to give his son, so he just looked away.
Tell me, Father, where is the animal?
Son, I have full faith in my Lord. He will provide the animal to be sacrificed.
Abraham and Isaac proceeded to the top. And when they reached there, Abraham set about to make the altar with stones and wood. As he was doing so, tears were streaming down his face.
Why are you crying, Father? What is the matter?
Abraham quickly wiped away his tears and looked at his beloved son with a sad smile.
Nothing, my child. Nothing.
Though Abraham had full faith in his Lord and couldn't think of disobeying him, he still dreaded the thought of plunging a knife into his only and most loved son. However, the thought of not doing what God wanted him to do never crossed his mind. He slowly started gathering big rocks and placed them one on top of the other, and then placed the wood over them. When the altar was ready, he gently tied his son's arms and led him to it. Isaac was horrified, but did not utter a word.
My son, I cannot tell you how much it pains me to do this, but I must do it. It is my word to God. Please, son, never ever doubt my love for you.
With a deep breath, Abraham raised the knife high above his head. But before he could bring it down and kill his son, an urgent voice called out to him.
Stop, Abraham. In the name of the Lord, stop. You will not hurt your son.
What?
Abraham looked up and saw an angel standing there. The angel looked at Abraham with a gentle smile.
God is very happy with you. To obey his order, you were willing to sacrifice your beloved son, who means so much to you. You have proved that your love for God is above everything and everybody, but now you do not have to sacrifice your son.
Abraham could not believe his eyes. He breathed a deep sigh of relief and knelt down with his arms outstretched.
Praise be to my Lord, the Master.
The Lord will grant you as many descendants as there are stars in the sky, as there are grains of sand on the beaches. You are the Lord's blessed one.
Glory be to you, O God. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Abraham got up and went to his son and untied him.
Come to me, my precious child. I hope you know that I love you dearly, but I had to do what I did, as I could not disobey my Lord.
I know, Father, and I never doubted your love for me even for a minute.
Both father and son hugged each other joyously. Just then, Abraham heard a sound. He looked around and saw a ram that had got caught by its horns in a bush. He quickly went and killed the ram, offering it as the sacrifice instead of his son. He then held his son's hand, and they both turned around to make their way down.
This place shall be called Jehovah-Jireh, which means the Lord provides. Those who love him will always have his blessings.
So saying, both father and son went down and headed back home.
So God het vir Abraham gevra om sy seun op te offer. Hoe wack is dit? Hy moet sy eie seun opoffer. Maar Abraham het soveel geloof gehad in God dat hy dit gedoen het. So vandag wil ek vir julle vra, hoeveel geloof het jy in jou lewe as God vir jou ietsie vra? Kom kyk gou 'n praktiese eksperiment saam met my. So julle vandag kuier twee ouetjies by ons. Hierdie ouetjie se naam is Abraham en hierdie ouetjie se naam is Frik. Abraham het baie geloof. As God vir hom ietsie vra om te doen, gaan doen hy dit, no questions asked. Frik is maar hartseer. So hy lewe nie geloof nie. As God vir hom ietsie sê, dan hesitate hy. En sy motto is, if I hesitate, I sommer los dit uit. So beide hierdie ouetjies lewe in hulle eie wêrelde, wat nou hierdie bekers is met Vader. So kom ons kyk wat gebeur met Frikkie, wat nie geloof het nie, in sy wêreld. Kom ek sit hom net so in, anders te gaan hy dalk breek. Daar sing Frikkie. Kom ons kyk gou wat gebeur met Abraham, as hy in sy wêreld lewe. Abraham styg. Kan julle die verskil sien tussen iemand wat geloof het en iemand wat sonder geloof lewe? So julle, my vraagie aan julle is, wil jy soos 'n Abraham lewe of wil jy soos 'n Frikkie lewe? Kom bid gou saam met my. Vader, dankie dat ons soveel geloof in U kan hê, Here, dat maak nie saak in watter situasie ons is nie, dat ons weet dat dit teen ten goeie gaan uitwerk, Here. En ek kom bid vandag vir elke kind wat kyk, dat U hulle kom inspireer en hulle harte kom werk om te weet dat U daar is, maak nie saak wat nie. Ek kom bless hulle elkeen in U naam. Amen. Dan sê julle, dit was vandag se les op geloof. Ek sien julle weer volgende Sondag. Like die video, gaan share dit en nooi jou maatjies.